Since Barbara Holiday and Dave Reinitz opened its doors in 2010, Flappers Comedy has become a prime source of entertainment for downtown Burbank. From comics performing in their very first book show to drop-ins from Kevin Hart and Whitney Cummings, as well as weekly performances from Jay Leno, audiences witness artists of all levels cultivating their act. Equipped with 4 stages, funny people from all over flock to this iconic club for an opportunity to work out material in both open mics and formally booked shows, putting in the necessary hours to make their jokes crowd-ready. Delve into the world of stand-up comedy, both on and off the mic.
Barb and Dave are comedians.
That's Joshua Snyder, who's been the booker at Flappers since 2018.
And they started their own comedy contest called the Uncle Clyde's Comedy Contest, which they did all over the place. They did it at the Ice House. They did it at the Ha Ha. They did it everywhere. There was frustration of, we wish we could have more control over the venues. And so I think they started talking about, well, what if we did this ourselves? Barb put up as collateral her own house, and it was a 10-year loan. It was where she had to put up her house. Right when she was about to get her house back was when the pandemic hit. They would say this was the club that Clyde's built. And for many, many years, and still somewhat to this day, we were kind of known as the development club. A lot of comedians would come here first because it was, it's easier for them to get stage time than it is at some of the other places. I think for a lot of comedians, it's not, the stage time is not just about performing, it's also where they're writing. A lot of them are not, sitting there writing out their entire set word for word. They have ideas, they have concepts, and then they go up on stage to flesh them out and to talk through them.
My next guest is a very funny comedian you've seen on How I Met Your Mother. Please welcome Mary Gallagher.
They were really important in my journey of getting on late night TV because Barb was so gracious in putting me up a lot, and Dave, that I was really able to work that late night set.
I feel like doctors are always hitting on me. I'll give you an example. I'm lying there naked on that table in the room, just waiting for the optometrist to come in. I felt so vulnerable. I don't think I should have to say to my optometrist, hey, buddy, my eyes are up here.
You may be surprised to learn that Flappers is also a gym. Its 2 small stages, exclusively for open mics, and 2 performance rooms give headliners like Mary Gallagher the space to build material and stamina.
We have the main room, which seats 200. It feels more like a showroom. It feels more like whatever is on stage is the big deal. The Yoo-Hoo room, which seats 50, we've always described it as feeling more like a New York underground comedy club. It lends itself more so to intimacy, maybe playing it fast and loose.
I like them both, and I hate them both at times. I hate the main stage at times because sometimes when I walk up there, I go into this feeling of like, oh, remember, this is the main room, and that doesn't serve me. So there's kind of just an automatic conditioning that happens when I remember it's Saturday night and I'm walking on the main stage. Then, of course, when I don't have that, I just love the main room. I think it's one of the best rooms in town. I really love the freedom of walking in there and being like, it's the Yoo-Hoo room, right? But then there's been times where, like, I ate it at the Yoo-Hoo room, and I'm like, wow, why would I be so insecure when there's 4 people on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock?
Mary, you brought up a great point, because as Josh says,
the real booker is the audience. What we are looking for is we want to make sure at the end of the day that the audience is coming out of our shows feeling like they've seen a good show. And oh my God, Bill Burr is dropping in. He's a really, really, really good comic. So even when he is trying out something new, he will still deliver a good show. Even if whatever he's doing doesn't work at all, he will turn it into something in the moment. And the audience is going to come out there going, that was amazing.
Leaving your computers at home. God bless you. Coming down to this little corner of the mall we like to call Flappers. Are they ever going to enclose this place? It's just sort of giant fucking mall is stretching out for blocks and blocks.
He's earned the right, and a lot of these other comedians have earned the right to test in front of big crowds in the main room.
But how about Mary?
I like to train in the really uncomfortable setting. And I'm maybe one of the rare headliners that is like, I'm going to go to an open mic. But I love it because it's so uncomfortable at times. And I just hear so many comics say, well, you can't find out anything at an open mic because it's all comics and they're not looking at you. I'm like, yeah, but if you can get them to look up at you and if you can get them to pay attention, now you really got something. I think you can't really do too much material at an open mic. I like to go up to an open mic and stay and improvise a lot, see what comes when I'm scared, see what comes when I'm uncomfortable. And definitely, I might have an idea for some jokes that might develop. But I think when you know you've got something of interest from the open mic, and then you form it a little bit more, and then you stick it in between some material at a book show, then I think that's a great way to see, oh, I had interest at the open mic, I worked through it, I found some hooks or maybe some strong jokes. I did it while I had a paid show, or I did it while I had a show with a great audience and jokes 2, 3, and 5 got laughs. Oh, now I'm really invested. I think I like the open mic the best. Isn't that strange? No one there or nobody cares, to bringing that same feeling or vibe or courage to the main stage show that is packed.
I don't want to tempt fate by saying this, but I would almost rather be in a situation where I write a new joke and it works in front of 5 people than be in front of 1,000 people doing stuff that I've done a million times.
I think that Flappers has always had a really great reputation. And as far as comics go, the comments I've heard the most is that Flappers is really a very nurturing club for comedians. But I'm probably going to grow more if I'm scared. So I should probably never come here again. And I should go to the Laugh Factory on chocolate Sundays and be like, hey, I'm a middle-aged white woman, guys. Do you want to hear what I have to say?
For many people, talking in front of a crowd is their biggest nightmare. In a show business town like Burbank, it's a performer's most precious desire. Flappers is happy to fill that appetite for stage time 365 days a year, on one condition. Will people laugh? Narrated, produced, and edited by Kearney Yee. Thank you to Joshua Snyder, Mary Gallagher, and the entire Flappers team. This podcast features Mary Gallagher's set from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert's YouTube, as well as Bill Burr's bit on the Burbank Mall from Flappers' YouTube channel. I also use the song There Ain't Nothin' by Holly's CC0 and Jazzy Detective by John Bartman from the Free Music Archive, as well as a record scratch from Halleck from freesound.org.